भूतमधुरिमा कीदृशो वा मतीयः सौख्यं चास्यामनुभवतः कीदृशं वेति लोभात् तद्भावाढ्यः समजनि सचिगर्भसिन्धौ हरिन्दु सङ्कर्षण कारणतो यशायि गर्भोदशायि च पयोक्तिशायि शेषश्च यस्यांशः कलास नित्यः नन्दाख्यराम शरणं ममास्तु मायातीते व्यापि वैकुण्ठलोके पूर्णैश्वर्ये श्रीचतुर्व्यूहमध्ये रूपं यस्वद्भाति सङ्कर्षणाख्यं तं श्रीनित्यानन्दरामं प्रपद्ये मायाभर्ता दण्ड सङ्कर्षणाख्यः शेते साक्षात्कारणां बोधिमध्ये यस्यैकांशः श्रीपुमानादिदेवस्तं श्रीनित्यानन्दरामं प्रपद्ये यस्यांशांशः शीलगर्भोदशायि यन्नाभिब्जं लोकसङ्घातनादं लोकसृष्टुसूतिकधामधातुस्तं श्रीनित्यानन्दरामं प्रपद्ये यस्यांशांशः परात्माखिलानां कोष्ठा विष्णुर्भाति दुग्धाब्धिशायि श्रवणीभर्ता यत्कलासोऽप्यनन्तस्तं श्रीनित्यानन्दरामं प्रपद्ये महाविष्णुर्जगत्कर्ता मायया सृजति यदः तस्यावतारे वाह्यम् अद्वैताचार्येश्वरः अद्वैतं हरिणाद्वैतात् आचार्यं भक्तिसंशणात् भक्तावतारमीशं तम् अद्वैताचार्यमाश्रये पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम् जयतां सुरतौ पङ्गो मम मन्देर्मतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदाम्भोजौ श्रीराधामदनमोहनौ दिव्यवृन्दारण्यं कल्पाद्रुमाधः श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद्राधाशीलगोविन्ददेवो पृष्ठालिभिसेव्यमानं स्मरामि श्रीमान् रासरसारम्भी वंशीवटतलस्थितः कर्षन् वेणुस्वनैर्गोपीर्गोपीनाथ श्रियेस्तु जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे. So we are in the second chapter, 96th verse. One second. So establishing Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. So that various quotations have been given and also proved that Shastras never go wrong. Shastras speak truth. One should not doubt the statements of Shastras. Even the 10th canto, Ashraya Tattva, reveals that Krishna is the Supreme Person and he is the ultimate source of all the universes. Krishnera Sarupara Shakti Traya Jnana Andrahayatandra Nahi Krishnete Jnanam. So one who knows the real features of Sri Krishna and his three different energies cannot remain ignorant about him. So the Bhagavad Sandarbha, in Bhagavad Sandarbha, Jiva Goswami speaks about that. So Jiva Goswami says that his potencies, they act in natural sequence beyond the scope of the speculative human mind. The summum bonum, eternally and simultaneously, they exist in the four transcendental features: his personality, his impersonal intelligence, particles of his potency, and the principal cause of all causes. The supreme whole is compared to the sun, which also exists in four features, namely the personality of sun god, the glare of glowing sphere, rays inside the sun planet and the sun's reflection. The ambition to corroborate the existence of the transcendental absolute truth by limited endeavors cannot be fulfilled because he is beyond the scope of our limited speculative mind. So, an honest search for truth must be done, and we must admit that his powers are inconceivable to our tiny brains. So, then the exploration of space has demanded the work of the great scientists of the world. Yet there are countless problems regarding even fundamental knowledge of the material creation that bewilder scientists who confront them. Such material knowledge is far removed from the spiritual nature, and therefore the acts and arrangements of absolute truth are beyond all our doubts and inconceivable. They are inconceivable. The primary potencies of the absolute truth are mentioned to be three: internal, external, marginal. By the acts of his internal potency, the personality of Godhead in his original form exhibits the spiritual cosmic manifestations known as Vaikuntha Lokas, which exist eternally even after the destruction of the material cosmic manifestation. By his marginal potency, the Lord expands himself as living beings who are part of him, just as the sun distributes his rays in all directions. By his external potency, the Lord manifests the material creation, just as the sun with his rays creates fog. The material creation is but a perverted reflection of the eternal, eternal world or eternal Vaikuntha nature. These three energies of the absolute truth are also described in Vishnu Purana, where it is stated that the living entity is equal in quality to the internal potency, whereas the external potency is indirectly controlled by the chief cause of all causes. Maya, the illusory energy, misleads a living being as fog misleads a pedestrian by blocking off the light of the sun. Although the potency of Maya is inferior in quality to the marginal potency, which consists of the living beings who are part and parcel of the Lord, it nevertheless has the power to control the living beings. Just as fog can block the actions of a certain portion of the sun's rays, although it cannot cover the sun, the living beings governed by the illusory energy evolved in different species of life with bodies ranging from that of an insignificant ant to that of Brahma, the constructor of the cosmos. The Pradhana, the chief cause of all causes in the impersonal vision, is none other than the Supreme Lord, whom one can see face to face in internal potency. He takes the material, all pervasive form by his inconceivable power. Although all three potencies, namely internal, external, and marginal, are essentially one in the ultimate issue, they are different in action, like electric energy, which can produce both cold and heat under different conditions. The external and marginal potencies are so called are so called under various conditions, but in the original internal potencies there are no such conditions. Nor is it possible for the conditions of the external potencies to exist in the marginal or vice versa. One who is able to understand the intricacies of all these energies for the Lord can no longer remain an empiric impersonalis under the influence of a poor fund of knowledge. There are Gyanis who just want to understand something about the energies. But it is very clearly said that if we do not understand the energies in connection with the energetic, then we cannot understand the glories of Lord and the glories of the energy. It will be just a half study about the energy of the Lord. One has to understand in connection with the Supreme Lord, like the sun's rays, the reflection of the sun, that cannot be separated from the sun. In the same way, internal energy, marginal energy, external energy, that cannot be separated from the Lord. So, elaborately, Srila Prabhupada describes about the three energies of Lord. Krishner Swarupe Rahaya Shadvidha Vilas Prabhava Vibhava Rupe Dvidha Prakasha. The personality of God enjoys himself in primary 6 primary expansions. His two manifestations are Prabhava and Vaibhava. So we had seen this when in Madhya Leela also, Prabhava, Vaibhava. So the author of Caitanya Caritamrita turns a description about the personality of Godhead in innumerable expansions. The Lord primarily expands himself into two categories, Prabhava, Vaibhava. The Prabhava forms are full potent like Sri Krishna. Vaibhava forms are partially potent. The Prabhava forms are manifested in relation with potencies, but the Vaibhava forms are manifested in relation with excellences. The potent Prabhava manifestations are also two varieties, temporary, eternal. The Mohini, Hamsaha, Shuklaha, they are all manifested only temporarily in terms of a particular age. Among the other Prabhavas who are not very famous according to the material estimation are Dhanavantari, Rishabha, Vyasaha, Dattatreya, Kapila. Among the Vaibhava forms are Kurma, Matsya, Naranarayana, Varaha, Haigriva, Prushnigarbha, Baladeva, Yajna, Vibhu, Satyasena, Hari, Vaikuntha, Ajitaha, Vamana, Sarabhoma, Rushabha, Vishwakshena. Then you have Dharmasetu, Sudhama, Yogeshwara, Brahadbhanu. So also in the simple way it has been told, Prabhava forms and Vibhava forms. In the Prabhava, Lord does not, Lord's form is like the original form only. He is not changing his form. But in the Vibhava, Lord changes his rupa, like Baladeva, Balaram is same Krishna, but has a different form. Amsha Shaktyaveshe Rupe Dvidha Avatar. Again, Amsha Shakti Avesha. That is Amsha Shakti Avesha Rupa Dividha Avatar. His incarnations are also two types. One is Amshaha, one is Shakti Avesha. And then Balya Paugandaha Dharma Duita Prakara. And there are two ages. One is childhood, one is boyhood. The Vilasa forms are 6 in number. Incarnations are of two varieties. Namely Shakti Avesha, that is empowered, and Amsha Vesha, partial. These incarnations also come within the category of Prabhava and Vaibhava. Childhood and boyhood are two special features of the Lord, but his permanent feature is his eternal form as an adolescent youth. The original Lord is always worshipped in this adolescent form. Then further, Kishora Swarupa Krishna Swayam Avatari. So Krishna in eternal world is always adolescent, that is Kishora Avastha. Krida Kare Yai Chaya Rupe Vishwabhari. He expands himself in these 6 categories to establish the supremacy throughout the universe. Then further, Yai Chaya Rupe Haya Ananta Vibheda Ananta Rupe Eka Rupanahi Kichu Bheda. So in these 6 kinds of forms, there are innumerable varieties. Although they are many, they are all one. There is no difference between them. So the Lord expands in 6 different features. Prabhava, Vaibhava, Shaktaveshaha, Amsharupaha, Balyavastha, then Paugandavastha. The personality of God is Sri Krishna, whose permanent feature is adolescence, enjoy his transcendental proclivities by performing pastimes in these 6 forms. In these 6 features, there are unlimited divisions of the Lord. The jivas or living beings are differentiated parts and parcels of Lord. They are all diversities of the one without a second, the Supreme Personality of God. So Prabhava, Vaibhava, within that only so many are there. Empowered incarnations, again partial incarnations, Amshavataras. Then you have the childhood pastimes and the boyhood pastimes. Chit Shakti, Swarupa Shakti, Antaranga Nama, Ahara Vaibhava, Ananta Vaikunthadi Dhama. So the Chit Shakti, which is also called Swarupa Shakti or Antaranga Shakti, displays many varied manifestations. It sustains the kingdom of God and its paraphernalia. No? So, Chit Shakti, Sarupa Shakti, Antaranga, Nam. So this is all the name of Chit Shakti. Maya Shakti, Bahiranga, Jagat Karana, Tahara Vaibhava Ananta, Brahmandera Gana. So there is external energy. It's known as Maya Shakti. So because of the Maya Shakti, there are many innumerable universes with varied material potencies. Then, Jiva Shakti Tathastakya Nahiyar Antah. And there is marginal potency in between these two, Chit Shakti and Maya Shakti. And they consist of innumerable living entities. Mukhyatina Shakti Prarabhibhed Anantah. So these are the three principal energies. Again, they have unlimited categories and subdivisions. So the internal potency of Lord is also known as Antaranga Shakti, Chit Shakti. So they have varieties in the transcendental Vaikuntha Loka. Besides ourselves, there are unlimited numbers of liberated living beings, Nityasuris, who associate with the personality of God in his innumerable features. The material cosmos displays the external energy in which the conditioned living beings are provided all liberty to go back to the personality of God after leaving the material tabernacle. So in this way, Bahiranga Shakti has been given so that the Tatastha Shakti can perform certain activities by which he can go back home, back to God. The Shvetashvatara Upanishad speaks about it. Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate natat samascha bhaktascha drishyate parasa shakti vivideva shruyate swabhaviki jnana bala kriya cha. So how is the Lord? Lord is one without the second. He has nothing to do personally, nor does he have material senses. Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. He has unlimited potencies. Parasa Shakti Vivideva Shruvate. No one is equal to him, no one greater than him. Natat Samascha Abhyarikascha Dashyate Swabhaviti Jnanavala Kriyacha. So in this way, he has unlimited variety of potencies which exists within him as autonomous attributes and provide him full knowledge, power, and sustenance. So that is the work of the Shaktis of Krishna. They provide him everything. They provide him full knowledge, power, and sustenance. So in this way, he has unlimited variegated potencies of different names which exist within him. Then, Ye Mata Swarupagana Aratina Shakti Sabhara Ashraya Krishna Sabhara Sthiti. So all these manifestations, expansions, everything emanate, all these three energies, everything emanates from Lord. He is the supreme transcendence and everything exists in him. Yatyapi Brahmanda Ganera Purusha Ashraya. So these three Purushas, they have taken the shelter of the supreme of all the universes. They are the shelter. Yatyapi Brahmanda Ganera Purusha Ashraya. So Purusha avatars, they are the Ashraya for all the universes. But then Yeyi Purushadi Sabhara Krishna Mula Ashraya. But Lord is the Ashraya for all the Purushas also, Purushavataras also. He is the original source of the Purushas. Swayam Bhagavan Krishna Krishna Sarvashraya Paramaishvara Krishna Sarva Shastrekaya. Swayam Bhagavan Krishna. The Supreme Personality is Krishna. And Krishna is the Ashraya, the shelter for each and every one. Parama Ishvara, he is the Supreme Lord. Krishna Sarva Shastrakaha. So all the Shastras speak one thing, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Nadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. This is the first verse of the Brahma Samhita 5th chapter. Very clearly it has been told, Ishvara Parama Krishna. So he is the one who is the supreme. He is the supreme controller. He has a wonderful spiritual body, Satchitananda Vigraha. He has no beginning, no end. And his name is actually Govinda, one who gives pleasure to the senses. And Go has various meanings also. Gomata, Gopi, Gopa, Mother Earth, etc. ये सब सिद्धांत तुम्ही जाना भाल मते तब पूर्व पक्ष करे तब पूर्व पक्ष आमा चलाइते. So here said यही सिद्धांत conclusion, यही सिद्धांत. This is the conclusion. This is the highest conclusion. Siddhanta means the philosophy or the conclusion. And what is that conclusion? That Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna. Then Purva Paksha. Why are you creating certain objections for this? Krishna is Lord, the Shastras say. Then why are you creating such logical arguments just to agitate me? So a learned man who has thoroughly studied the scriptures cannot hesitate to accept Krishna as Supreme Personality of God. If such a man argues about this matter, certainly he must be doing so that to agitate the minds of his opponents. So the Shastras very clearly say that if somebody is arguing, that means we should understand he's just doing it for agitating our mind. Say Krishna Avatari Brajendra Kumara Apane Chaitanya Rupe Kaila Avatara. So Lord is the fountainhead of all the incarnations. He is known as the son of King of Braja. He has descended personally as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Apane Chaitanya Rupe Kaila Avatara. You have appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this chapter is establishing that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Lord has appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ataiva Chaitanya Goshani Paratattva Shima. So he is the highest limit, Paratattva Sima. He is the highest limit of the absolute truth. See how systematically this chapter is going on. First, establishing that Krishna is the source of all the incarnations. Krishna is the shelter of all shelters. And now same Lord appears as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't come in the category of just an avatar. He is the avatari. He is the Supreme Personality of God. Tandre Shirodashai Kahi Ki Tandra Mahima. To call him Shirodakshai Vishnu does not add to his glory. That means comparing him even to any of the Purusha avatars is not actually adding him to the glory, adding his glory. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the same Lord, same Krishna who has appeared. So he is the source of all incarnations. Seita Bhaktera Vakyak Nahi Vyavichari Sakala Sambhave Tante Yate Avatari. So such words from the lips of a sincere devotee cannot be false. All possibilities abide in him, for he is the primeval Lord. अवतारी न देहे सब अवतारे रस्ति के हो कोण मते कहे ए मन आरमति. All other incarnations are situated in potential form in the original body of the primeval Lord. Thus, according to one's opinion, one may address him as one of the incarnations. It is not contradictory for a devotee to call the Supreme Lord by any one of the various names of his plenary expansions. Because the Lord, the original Lord, includes all such categories. Since the plenary expansions exist within the original person, one may call him by any of these names. In Chaitanya Bhagavat, Lord Chaitanya says, I was lying asleep in the ocean of milk, but I was awakened by the call of Nada, Sri Advaita Prabhu. Here the Lord refers to his form as Shivakshay Vishnu. So you can call Lord in different names, but the original is Krishna only. Because all the amshas, all the incarnations, they are lying within him only. So you can, by calling him in different names, it's not going to reduce his glories. Krishna ke kahe kayahe kahaye keha Nara Narayana Kehu Kahe Krishna Hai Sakshat Vaman. Sometimes Krishna is addressed as Narayan. Sometimes he is directly a Vamana. Sometimes his incarnation Shudakshay Vishnu. None of the statements is impossible. Each is as correct as the others. Keho Kahe Krishna Shirodakshay. Shiroda Shai Avatara Asambhave Nahe. Devachara Sabhava. So Lagu Bhagavatamrita states, Ata eva Puranadau Kechin Narasakshatmana Matam Mahendra Nujatam Kechit Shirabdhi Shaitam Sahasra Shirshatam Kechit Vaikunthanatha Nathatam Guru Krishnasya Manayas Tad Vritti Anugaminaha. According to the intimate relationships between Lord, the primeval Lord, and his devotees, the Puranas describe him by various names. Sometimes he's called Narayana, sometimes Upendraha, Vamana, sometimes Indra, sometimes Shridakshayi, Vishnu. Sometimes he's called as Ananta Shesha, thousand-headed Shesha Naga, and sometimes the Lord of Vaikuntha, Vaikuntapati, Vaikunthanathatam. केहो कहे परम व्योमे नारायण कहरी सकल संभवे कृष्णे याते अवतारी. Sometimes he is called as Narayana Hari, sometimes some people call him Narayana. Everything is possible in Krishna because everybody is included in Krishna, for he is the primeval Lord. सब श्रोत गणेर करी चरण वंदना यही सब सिद्धांत शुन करी एक namana. So this is the Siddhanta, this is the conclusion. And what is that? I offer my obeisances unto the feet of all who hear or read this discourse. Kindly hear the attention, the conclusion of all these statements. So Krishna Kaviraj Goswami says, I pay obeisances to those who are hearing this, rapt attention. And what is that conclusion? Siddhanta Banya Chittena Kara Ala Alasa Iha Haite Krishne Lage Sudula Manasa. A sincere student should not neglect the discussion of such conclusions, considering them to be controversial. For such discussions strengthen the mind. Thus, one's mind becomes attached to Sri Krishna. There are many students who, in spite of reading Bhagavad Gita, misunderstand Lord because of the imperfect knowledge and conclude him to be an ordinary historical personality. This one must not do. This thing one should not do. One should be particularly careful to understand the truth about Lord. If because of laziness one does not come to know Krishna conclusively, one must be guided about the cult of devotion. Like those who declare themselves advanced devotees and imitate the transcendental symptoms, sometimes observed in liberated souls. Although the use of thoughts and arguments is a most suitable process for inducing an uninitiated person to become a devotee, neophytes in devotional service must always alertly understand Krishna through the vision of the scriptures. The bona fide devotees and the spiritual masters. Unless one hears about Sri Krishna from such authorities, one cannot make advancement in devotion to Krishna. The revealed scriptures mention 9 means of attaining devotional service, of which first and foremost is the hearing process. The seed of devotion cannot sprout unless watered by the process of hearing and chanting. One should submissively receive the transcendental message from spiritually advanced sources and chant the very same messages for one's own benefit as well as the benefit of the audience. When Brahma described the situation of pure devotees freed from the culture of empiric philosophy, and fruitive actions, he recommended the process of hearing. Following in the footsteps of the acharyas, one should be able to vibrate a real sound. So hearing process is again under the guidance of the authority. So the teachings of the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami, Shastra Yuktiye Shunipana, Drida Shraddha Yandra, Uttamadikari Sei Taraye Samsara. A person who is expert in understanding the conclusion of the revealed scriptures and who fully understands or surrenders to the cause of the Lord is actually able to deliver others from the clutches of material existence. So, who is an Uttamadikari Bhakta? Uttamadikari is one who has complete faith in Shastras, and also he understands that the cause of all the causes is Krishna and is very expert in delivering others from the clutches of material existence. Rupa Goswami in his Uddeshamrut third, he advises to make a rapid advancement in the cult of devotional service. Further, one should be very active. He should persevere in executing the duties. Utsaha nishtaya dhairya tat karma pravartana. So utsaha should be there, dhairya, he should be determined. Accepting the path of liberated souls and the association of devotees enriches such activities. So one should give up all the material association and take up the association of devotees. Imitation devotees who wish to advertise themselves as elevated Vaishnavas and who therefore imitate the previous acharyas but do not follow them in principle are condemned in the words of Bhagavatam as stone-hearted. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has commented on their stone-hearted condition as follows: Bahir Ashru Pulakayoho Shator Apiyad Dridayam Na Vikriyet Tad Ashma Saram Iti Kanishtadhikarinam Eva Ashru Pulakadi Matve Api Ashma Sara Hridaya Taya Nindaisha. Those who shed tears by practice, but whose hearts have not changed, are to be known as stone-hearted devotees of the lowest grade. So he has said, though the tears are falling, but their hearts are not changed. They are just kanishtas. Their imitation crying induced by artificial practice is also condemned. Some people, they cry like anything as soon as they see Lord, but their hearts are not changed. That means still they have so much of material desires. They have a dual personality. When they come before Lord, they will act as if they are the greatest devotees. And then outside, they are the lowest even in the material-minded people. They behave so lowly. They're interested in all the sensual desires. So such people have dual personalities. When they come to temple, they'll wear dhoti kurta, sari, and all those things and behave as if they are very great devotees. But then in the outside world, they wear what should not be worn by what is worn by teenagers. Generally, the teenagers wear. But the people who are like 50s, 60s, they are also wearing such type of dresses and they show that as if they are all very exalted devotees in the temple, but outside they are sensually entertaining their desires. The desired change of heart referred to above is visible in the reluctance to do anything not favorable to the devotional service. So what is the meaning of desired change in the heart? One should not accept those things which are not favorable to devotional service. One should not go to the places where one's devotion cannot be cultivated. What is the use of going to some parties or some fun fairs where devotional service, where nothing can be heard about Krishna, devotional service is not there. So those things which come as an impediment that has to be given up. That is the change of heart. So one may shed tears by just seeing a person shedding tears. One should not conclude that he's the greatest devotee. One should see how much change of heart is there. How much is he inclined in performing the devotional service and how much is he inclined in giving up the material propensities. To create such a change of heart, conclusive discussions about a Lord and his potencies is absolutely necessary. That is why One should always be eager to hear about Lord, then only the change in heart can happen. False devotees may think that simply shedding tears will lead one to the transcendental plane, even if one has not had a factual change in the heart. But such a person is useless if there is no transcendental realization. False devotees lacking the conclusion of transcendental knowledge think that artificially shedding tears will deliver them. Similarly, other false devotees think that studying books of the previous acharyas is unadvisable, like studying rife empiric philosophies. But Srila Jiva Goswami, following the principle previous acharyas, has inculcated the conclusions of the scriptures in the sixth thesis called Shatsandharma. False devotees who have very little knowledge of such conclusions fail to achieve pure devotion for want of zeal in accepting the favorable directions for devotional service given by self-realized souls. Such false devotees are called impersonalists who also consider devotional service no better than ordinary fruitive actions. So, niyama agraha. So, just giving up uh, just following the rules and regulations for the sake of following. So, artificially he may show, or superficially he may show that he is a very good devotee. His eyes is full of tears when he sees the Lord, because he's just shedding the tears in love of Lord. But there is no change in the heart. That means still that Hridaya Daurbalyam is there. Still the heart is not strong. Hridaya Daurbalyam means attachment to the material things. So in this way, his heart is not changed, yet he has not become strong in within his heart. चैतन्य महिमा जानी ये सब सिद्धांते चित्त दृढ़ हना लागे महिमा जना ज्ञान है. So by conclusive studies, I know the glories of Chaitanya. Only by knowing these glories can one become strong and fixed in attachment to him. So one can know the glories of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only by reaching in knowledge a conclusive decision about Krishna, strengthened by bona fide studies of the conclusions of that. First, a person should know the glories of Krishna, then he can understand how Lord has appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that is why here Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami says, Chaitanya Prabhura Mahima Kahibara Tare. That is why I am singing the glories of Lord Krishnera Mahima Kahi Karaya Kariya Vistare. I have tried to describe the glories of Krishna in full. In this way, I want to enunciate the glories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Goshani Yai Tattva Nirupana Swayam Bhagavan Krishna Vigedalandana. The conclusion is that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord. Krishna, the son of King of Braja. Shri Rupa Raghunatha Pade Yara Asha Chaitanya Chaitamrita Kahe Krishna Dasa. So praying at the lotus feet of Rupa and Raghunatha, always desiring their mercy, I Krishna Das narrate Shri Chaitanya Chaitamrita following in their footsteps. Thus in the Bhaktivedanta purpose to Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Chaitamrita Adilila, second chapter, describing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of God. So in this chapter, first, who is the fountainhead of all the incarnations? This is Krishna. Same Krishna appears as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There's no difference between Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not concluded as one of the avatars. In fact, he is a source of all the avatars. So this spoken. So tomorrow we'll start third chapter. Hare Krishna. In doubts.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Mataji, in Bhagavad Gita, in certain places, and yesterday in Bhagavatam class also, we say living entity is a supreme energy of the Lord, and sometimes we say is a marginal potency. So how to understand that?
In Bhagavad Gita, if you see in the seventh chapter, Bhagavad Gita, very clearly says, Krishna says that the living entity is the superior energy. Apareyam itastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param. Parashakti. Jivabhuta Mahabaho Yedam Dhariteja. Parashakti, but comes in the category of marginal, because though para, paropi manute anartham. Though Parashakti, but then forgets its identity and comes in contact with matter and identifies with matter.
Okay.
But there are Akshara Jivas who never fall down from their consciousness. So there are two types of jivas. That is why it is marginal potency. Two types of jivas. One jiva who never fall down from their position, and there is one jiva who falls down from their position. That's it.
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat.
Yeah, Mataji, in the very first verse which we did today, 96 number, normally we have heard of this sun ka example with in triple we have heard, that is the sun globe and the rays and all that. But
yeah,
here it is going for the fourth. So that is the sun's reflection in many other objects. Like for example, you may have diamond and then sun. So this is known as upadhi, na?
It is like Lord's amshas. The rays of the sun within the sun, the rays of the sun outside the sun, the glaring effulgence within the sun. So the amshas of the Lord is also included.
Acha, that is from spiritual point of view, and from material point of view, we can say upadhis, designations, different designations.
Different designations.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Krishna.
Prabhav and Vaibhav explain करेंगे.
प्रभाव में भगवान अपने स्वरूप को वही रखते हैं, चेंज नहीं करते, ऐसे ही दिखते हैं. लेकिन वैभव में तो उन्होंने क्या किया, अपने स्वरूप को थोड़ा चेंज कर देते हैं. जैसे बलराम एग्जाम्पल, बलराम से ही तदेकात्मक रूपा वो सब चालू हो जाता है. तो नारायण, चार हाथ वाले नारायण, सो जो स्वरूप चेंज हो गया है. लेकिन वही द्वि रूप में, वही द्विभुजा में भगवान कृष्ण बहुत सारे फॉर्म्स भी ले सकते हैं. जैसे टेम्पररी फॉर्म्स दिया है, वो भी आज इसमें हमने पढ़ा कि टेम्पररी भगवान ऐसे दिखते हैं, लेकिन मोहिनी रूप में भगवान ने चतुर्भुज नहीं दिखाया, वही दो भुज दिखाया और सेम ही दिखते हैं. ऐसा नहीं कि डिफरेंट दिख रहे हैं, सेम दिखते हैं. जब डिफरेंट दिखने लगते हैं, कुछ तो भी अलग दिखते हैं, तभी वहां वैभव, अपने वैभव को दिखा रहे, अपने ऑपुलेंस को दिखा रहे, अपने एक्सेलेंस को दिखाते. तो भगवान को दिखाना है ना, देखो मैं एक्सेलेंस को दिखाना.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, in this verse 97, verse 2.97, so same question what Mataji asked, like Prabhava means almost like fully potent like Krishna, and Vaibhava forms are partially potent. Then how do we understand this, that the potent Prabhava manifestations, temporary and eternal, Mohini, Hamsa and Shukla forms are manifested temporarily, but how is it Prabhava? Because Prabhava, because Prabhava means fully potent, it should be, na?
Prabhava means it is not that half potent or
Prabhava, solana. The line is there on the top of A, that's why I'm
Prabhava also sometimes is said. This Prabhava also can be told.
okay.
So here Prabhava, Vaibhava. So this Prabhava here refers to when it is fully potent only. It's not partial potent. How can Lord be partially potent? For though it is said here partially potent, here refers to
not exhibiting that full Swarupaha. Understand it very nicely. Not exhibiting that full 6 qualities. Now Balaram is servant to God. Balaram is not served God. That means he is not exhibiting that quality of enjoyer as being an enjoyer. Even Narayana Swarupa, Vaibhava form. Again, there also the sweetness of Lord, the 4 qualities, Venu Madhurya, Rupa Madhurya, Leela Madhurya, Parivar Madhurya, it's not shown, it's not exhibited. So they are partially potent here refers to same Krishna only, but not exhibiting to the fullest. But on the contrary, here there is a temporary manifestation of the Prabhav or Prabhava, you can say. The temporary manifestation has been given. What is that? They are Mohini, Hamsa, Shukla. They are the forms which has been given. So to understand that, like it is said, it is a temporary manifestation. Lord's form is not fully changed. At the same time, when Lord appears, he has manifested his super excellence. He has manifested everything. The Mohini Avatara, all are just seeing how beautiful is Krishna. Krishna has exhibited everything. Now, 6 qualities has been exhibited to the fullest, but for temporary, it is in a temporary time. It's not. It is not that Mohini is a source of all incarnations. No, it is Krishna who is the source of all incarnations. At the same time, when Krishna is in the Prabhava form, at the time Krishna is exhibiting all his sweetness. That sweetness and the opulence. That is where the difference also comes. So in the sweetness, Mohini Avatar or Hamsa Avatar, Shukla Avataras, the sweetness has been exhibited and not much difference in his features are also there. But in the Vaibhava form, the features differ. That is.
Okay, Mataji. But why, can you just explain what is the Hamsa and Shukla, Mataji? Is there any pastime associated with Hamsa form and Shukla form?
Hamsa has not been very much, I have not come across, but Hamsa we are saying that in the Satyuga, Lord appeared in the Hamsa Avataras.
White form.
White form, in the white swan.
And Shukla is the green form, parrot.
Parrot, yes, Shukla Avataras. Not much description has been given, but why they are coming in this category of Prabhava, they are a temporary manifestation.
Yeah, they were of very short period, like Mohini Avatar. They were all for short period.
Short. Now, according to our material estimation, like what it is here, we cannot estimate how Krishna as when Krishna manifests for the gopis of Vrindavan. Krishna is in the same form. But then how in the Hamsa and Shukla form and Mohini form, Krishna has changed his form. Then why they are coming in this category? Then why and how you cannot ask. Because they are taken as in the temporary manifestation, we have to just accept it. Yes, they are taken as a temporary manifestation. What can be in this justification can be given is Krishna shows his sweetness at the same time. Krishna shows his full potency. All the full potency is shown. It is not just in some part is not shown. In Kurma Matsyaha, Krishna says Naranarayana Varaha Haigriva. Krishna has not exhibited the full potency.
So,
somewhere he hides some of the potencies. Yes, Lord.
Yeah, Mataji. So that means the potency is always there in full, but the displaying and the exhibiting factor is the most important. Now, in that also there are 2 categories. One is that the displaying is of all the opulences in less degree. That can also be. And the second category is that displaying the opulences, few of them, like that. So there are 2 categories. Thank you, Mataji.
To the fullest.
So always fully exhibited, fully Prabhava, right?
See, to the fullest and sometimes not to the fullest at the same time.
Part of it. Some of it, yeah. Some of the characteristics. Some of the
Bhava, right? I mean Vaibhava, right? Some of it means
in Vaibhava. Fullest. At the same time, even in the temporary manifestation, not to the complete fullness. You can say complete form need not be shown. It is fullest only. But again, in that also, like when we say all, in that there can be little bit. The percentage can be less.
Yeah, part of it. Yeah.
A part of it. A percentage can be less. It is up to Lord what to do, what not to do.
जितना चाहिए situation
Sometimes
के लिए,
it is the whole form.
as much required for a situation, that much display. Thank you, Mataji.
Mataji, one more question I have. So here it is said Prabhava forms are of kinds. One is temporary and one is eternal. So eternal is only Krishna, right? Only Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So no other form of Lord Krishna other than Krishna himself and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will come under eternal Prabhava form. Is that the right understanding?
No, complete wrong understanding. How can other forms are not eternal? All the forms are eternal. You Vaibhava forms are also eternal. Narayana is not eternal.
But that is Vaibhava, na Mataji?
Narayana not eternal. Vamana not eternal.
Mataji, that is given under Vaibhava, na? Here Matsya, Varaha, Hayagriva, they are all coming under Vaibhava Prakasha. So
They are all eternal forms of Lord. Every form is eternal form.
That is eternal Prabhava, it is divided into temporary and eternal, it is given. I'm saying eternal Prabhava manifestation.
You're not understanding. Even Vaibhava are also eternal forms. Balaram is not eternal or what? Why have so much of confusion? You don't have to be confused. See, they are all eternal forms only.
Yes.
One is simple understanding. First, understand very simple. In the Prabhava manifestation or Prabhava manifestation, Lord does not change his Swarupa. It is the same. But in the Vaibhava, Lord has to change the Swarupa for doing some other work. Like a servant to God and served God. Simple. But they are all eternal only. Eternal manifestation of Lord. The function to do certain functions, Lord has to exhibit in that form. Now to create the spiritual world, Lord has to exhibit the form of Vasudeva, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Sankarshan. The four Vyuhas. So then to enjoy to the fullest, then Lord has to appear in the same form. At that time, Lord cannot be like a Balaram and enjoy with the gopis of Vrindavan. So if Lord has to do some work, he has to change his form. Because if he does the work in the same form, then how will you say, Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate? Then the Shastras will prove him wrong. So he is a complete enjoyer. So when he is complete enjoyer, at that time he is in that mood, enjoying mood. He is the enjoyer. At the same time, when he has to do some work, then he appears as if he is like a Balaram and he has to do a lot of work. Then Narayana, Vasudha, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, like that. It's all Leelas of Krishna. Same Lord only. Everybody is same only. At the same time, the functions are different. He's the same Lord.
And to add,
no
Mataji, Mataji, that each eternal form has its own eternal spiritual planet.
Yes. And see,
it descends from there.
Word to word, if you take word to word, temporary, that means that that is why English is a very insufficient language to glorify Krishna. Simple. If you see what you will say Bheda, that is why it is said distinguish. But if you see the Sanskrit words or the Bengali words, they are sufficient to describe Krishna. But same thing, if it is translated in English, it becomes so confusing.
Yeah.
You say permanent, you say temporary. Oh, temporary. Lord is just temporary over there. He's not temporary.
Temporarily here means situation wise. Jitna chahiye
temporary
utna.
Means what is required at that time. He should be exhibit as an enjoyer, or should he exhibit as a person who is creator. Now creator means he should do some work. Immediately he expands like Brahma. So then the Shastras will not prove him wrong. Oh, very good, wonderful. Brahma is doing the work. See Krishna is complete enjoyer. See Krishna is always with the gopis of Vrindavan. He is enjoying with the 16,108 queens of Dwarika. So that is all Prabhava. Prabhava or Prabhav. Actually, it is I don't know Prabhava. Yes, Prabhava, Prabhava also. So Prabhava also, Prabhava you say is what? To show that he is an enjoyer. And Swayam Rupa is Krishna only. From Krishna, all these two come. This pastime and that, again it is pastime. Huh? It is Vaibhava pastimes. You see the word very clearly. It is not Vaibhava avataras. Vaibhava pastimes, Prabhava pastimes. For that pastime, he will appear in this Rupa. For this pastime, he will appear in this Rupa. Originally, he is Govinda tending the cows, enjoying with the gopis.
Gopal Krishna.
Gopala Krishna. Very difficult to understand. In that also there is Paugunda Leela, boyhood Leelas. They are same enjoyer, now like a bacha. Same enjoyer, like a youth. Now in which category they'll come? That is why to know Krishna, to know his Leelas, very difficult.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, Mataji, one question can I ask?
Yeah.
Mataji, in Bhagavad Gita chapter 13, the super soul is described as a plenary expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But when we saw the Narada example, when Narada could see Lord within his heart for a few seconds, right? He saw the Lord in his heart only, right? So what my question is the here in the purport it's mentioned super soul is plenary expansion of Supreme Personality of God. But the super soul is Swayam Bhagavan only, no, is present in everybody, the Shirodakshay Vishnu. So why it's called plenary expansion? Is Shirodakshay Vishnu plenary expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or is the God Swayam present in everybody's heart as Paramatma? That's my question.
Again, what are these expansions? First, we should understand that how these expansions come from Balaram only. Balaram expands, then Mahasankarshana. From there, all these expansions come. So just by expansions, Lord's power is not reduced.
Okay,
Only
understood.
exhibited to the extent it is required. But just by expanding, Lord's power is not reduced. We should understand it very nicely.
He is the same Bhagavan in the Paramatma Swarup, right?
In the Paramatma Swarupa. Where Lord is not showing his or not allowing a person to personally serve also. Again, understand. When the Bhagavan Swarupa is there, his personality is understood.
Yes.
But as a Paramatma, personality is there, but what is there? One is not able to serve Lord directly.
Serve the Lord, yes.
So it is Paramatma who wakes up, who wakes us up, who is alarm, who is sitting in our mind, in our heart. It is Krishna.
Correct.
Who is giving us the knowledge? Krishna. Same.
Yes.
Okay then.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Nice technical class.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nice today. Thank you. Dandachanams.
I have not done any technology.
No. This is not IT. I'm talking about spiritual technology.
Okay.